G'day, today I wanted to talk with you about marriage equality here in Australia. We find ourselves in a bit of a mess, and in a way I find it quite distressing. I'm so puzzled and upset and distressed around this argument about whether or not my relationship is legitimate. Somehow I need the permission of the rest of the country to call my relationship with Michael marriage. You know, we went off to New Zealand in 2014 and we got married. It was no really big deal in New Zealand. Everyone was delighted to have us, and you know, we got married. We told each other how much we meant to each other. We took our family, our close family, and some friends with us over there, and we celebrated our relationship. Now, I can't think of any other way in our society that we say to the society, look, this person is the most important person in my life, and I want to dedicate myself to this person. I love this person, and for me, he is important. I want to be able to celebrate that relationship. And in our society, when we get to that point in a relationship, we get married. It's not for everybody. And honestly, Michael and I, you know, we don't need to be married, really. Nor does anybody, for that matter. Don't actually need marriage. But here, right now, in our society, marriage is the way that you show commitment and bring celebration to your relationship. It's a way of saying to the world, this is it for me. This is the person for me. Now, I have no illusions that relationships are tough work and that they don't all work out. No, down the track here are Michael and I, and relatively happy. Do we have a perfect relationship? Yeah, of course we do. We all have perfect relationships. You know that. Why do I need the endorsement of government to my relationship? I'll tell you why. Because that's how governments work. You take your people, the people that have elected you, you listen to them, you listen to what's important to them, and you say, how can we help you? And that's what marriage is. It's a way of saying, your relationship's valued in our society. It's a way of treating everybody with the same respect. Because right now I'm not feeling particularly respected. I'm led to believe that my ability to marry Michael will somehow persecute Christians. Somehow I'll be lobbing up to florists and demanding that they sell me flowers. Or I'll be, you know, dropping into the pub saying I'd like to book the pub for a stag night. No, there isn't a hen's night. We're having 2 stag nights. Can we book both bars, please? Somehow that's going to be persecuting other people. Yeah. Seriously? I'm at a loss to work out what to do. I know that on our Facebook group of over 5,000 people that there's diversity of opinions. You know, there are those of us who want to vote yes in this opinion poll. There are those of us who want to vote no in the opinion poll. And there are those of us who want to abstain from voting. And each and every reason that is given is quite legitimate. And, you know, I want to vote yes, and I want to boycott it too. Because I think that of all the great insults that you can do in the world, asking people to vote on the rights of somebody else is it. It's reprehensible. How can you, with a pen, decide whether or not someone's relationship should be acknowledged and celebrated? Because the relationship isn't yours. It never will be. Your ability to interfere in the lives of others is already limited. Why do you need to limit my ability to have a relationship? Because at the end of the day, nothing bad happens. And we know nothing bad happens because look at the world. Sure, you can pick out one or two cases of things going wrong, but you can do that in everything in life. You actually don't need to go too far to find out that the law sucks at times. You know, discrimination is a horrible, insidious thing, and we have so much of it here in Australia. We have so much vilification of people from different, diverse backgrounds. And yet, you know, same-sex attracted people are still treated like they're something dirty and something sinful. And you're not. I'm not. I'm simply trying to get on with my life. Because I want to live my life and focus on my relationship. I want to be able to live a happy life with Michael. And I want to be rid of this whole concept that we need to fight for equal rights. Because that's all I want. I'm not a second-class citizen, so stop treating me like one. For those of you that think that somehow the ability for same-sex people to get married will suddenly and dramatically wreck the lives of thousands of children, why don't you think again? You know, I know of heterosexual and homosexual and bisexual and trans couples that are raising children that are doing perfectly okay. They are. And I also know of relationships that really suck at parenting. And it doesn't matter whether they're straight or not. The reality is that parenting's hard work, and some of us do it extremely well and some of us do it really, really badly. The idea that somehow just because you've got a mum and a dad you're made for life is just wrong. You don't have two dads, you have two mums. Doesn't matter. You know, kids will be raised by these parents regardless of what you think about marriage, because whether or not the relationship of the parents is recognised here in Australia, those couples and the couples coming along behind me and us, they'll continue to have children. Because at the end of the day, unless you're going to legislate to stop people having children, we're going to continue to breed. And just because we don't breed the same way you do doesn't mean that our children are somehow less cared for or less loved, because that's just the biggest furphy. And it's not even the focus of marriage equality. Marriage equality is about recognition of the adults and their relationships. It's about the celebration of those people, not about their ability to have children. And we know this already. You can't ignore the fact that people all around this country get married for a whole range of reasons, and amongst those reasons is to have children. The focus here in Australia should be on relationships. Your relationship's valid and important, and we need the government, we need the people of Australia to recognise the relationship and to help and support them. And also that of the children, because if you've got a healthy, strong relationship with your partner, you'll have a strong, healthy relationship with your children. And it doesn't matter the sex of the parents, because at the end of the day, what matters is how much support you get in raising those kids. Let's focus in relationships on teaching and helping parents raise their children. That's the important bit. So when it comes to voting, I'm not going to tell you how to vote. Not right now. There are a few things I want to see. I want to see what the vote's actually about, because I'm not voting on a change to the Act. I'm just voting on whether or not the Parliament should do something. I don't know why I have to vote that they should do something. Part of me, again, I think I'm leaning towards I'm just going to boycott this. I don't want anything to do with it. I think that voting on human rights is a mistake. There's no reason to vote on a human right. Part of me wants to go out and campaign and say, yes, let us get married. But you know what? You didn't come to me to ask me if you could get married, and I'm certainly not going to you to ask you if I can get married.